Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to everyone joining us from across different time zones. Welcome to our webinar on MOSIP Create. I'm Resham Chugani, Product Manager at MOSIP and your host for today's session. Joining me on this call are key members of the MOSIP team, including our leadership, Ramesh Narayanan, who's the Chief Technology Officer. We are also joined by the Head of Engineering, Shashi Kumar Ganeshan. We have Head of Partner Ecosystem, Sanjit Sundaram. We have our Head of Academy, Sanat Kumar Valambali. And we also have the Head of Country Implementations, Krishnan Rajagopalan. We're extremely glad to have all our stakeholders on this call today. And most of all, we are pleased to have you with us. A special welcome to you, the participants of MOSIP Create. Can we move on to the next slide, please? Thank you. Yeah. So to support you in this integration journey, we have designed this webinar to provide you with key insights and guidance on the program. We have been receiving a lot of inquiries on what is MOSIP Create and how do we go about it. So just to let you know, our engagement wouldn't stop with just this webinar. We will continue to work closely with all of you through working sessions, through workshops, and details of which will be shared with you over the course of this session today. So what is it that you could expect over the next 1 hour? We will begin with an in-depth overview of what is MOSIP Create, how you could leverage MOSIP, its solutions, be it the core platform, eSignet or NG, integrate it with your solutions to solve real-world use cases. In short, we will look at what is the impact and value proposition of MOSIP Create. We'll also provide you a glimpse into the various themes for integration, which is driven by the Sustainable Development Goals of United Nations. Post that, we would cover a few general guidelines about the event. And further, we would touch upon our partner ecosystem and the marketplace, following which we would actually like to have an open Q&A session to address your queries. Meanwhile, if you do have any questions during the session, we encourage you to submit them through the Q&A drop box, and we will address them as we go along. Just to highlight, this is a great opportunity for you to engage with our team, also for us to hear your ideas on the use case implementations. So we encourage you to actively participate, keep it two-way, keep it engaging, and let's together make the most of it. So to begin with the first segment of today's session, I would like to invite our Head of Engineering, Shashi Kumar Ganeshan, to take you through the broader vision of MOSIP Create and to flag off the webinar. Shashi, over to you.
Sure, Resham. Thank you. I hope I'm audible and clear for everyone. Thanks everyone for joining once again. Really glad all of you are here. We'll try and quickly walk through what does MOSIP Create and why are we doing it? And what's the reason behind doing this exercise right now? So let me start with a brief introduction. I think for a lot of you, MOSIP is relatively not new. You've been one other way hearing about MOSIP for quite some time. Today, we operate in multiple countries where MOSIP or MOSIP's compliance systems have been used in several places and in several countries. As a system, what we realize is there was need for a stable release. And if you look at last 1.5 years, we have been working on a stable release, and we have been not making much changes in our releases. We have been consistently focused on our LTS. And with that, you get an added set of advantage where countries who are adapting from LTS onwards, we want to make sure they're able to rapidly move down the identity and digital identity path. One of the most important thing that we wanted to do in the identity space, in the national IDs, as much as we accelerate the speed in which you can deploy an identity solution, we also want to accelerate the speed at which you could have solutions around identity and the use cases to begin with. How do we actually leverage those? and how do we go digital in those countries, and how do we leapfrog those entire solution space faster. So the MOSIP creates core ideas to leverage that speed with the ecosystem that we potentially have, right? With 30 odd countries today adapting MOSIP, there is a need for solutions across the globe in every domain that we could think of. And the countries are looking for solutions to be developed when they go live into the world with the identity solution. But rather than thinking of solutions at that point in time, we would also try to think, can we not pre-create these solutions for the countries and be ready with it, so that there's huge opportunities that we could come across. There may definitely be some level of customization and some level of changes based on the real world and the culture and the country's sovereignty brings in. But at the core, we wanted to see how do we actually leverage all of that. So MOSIP Create is all about leveraging the stable MOSIP version or the NG stack to bring in solutions which can ride above it. It could be usage of our stack. It could be using a national ID solutions and building a bridge beyond national ID and providing services to the end user. It could be a government service. It could be a private service. We think it's wide open for the industry to use it in the way it thinks it fits the domain. Right. So the idea is to see how much of real world use cases we can solve. To name a few which are impactful, which we are seeing in the countries that are happening wherever we are rolling out the identity solution is, every time we roll out an identity solution, there's a huge need and uptake in terms of opening up bank accounts, either automatically or faster. So there is a need for some kind of a fintechs and finnet solutions to come in. There is a need for payment solutions using the same as coming up. There are a lot of discussions going on in the social sector. There are a lot of discussions going on in loans, education. So a lot of this is coming in as an afterthought today, and we think quite a few of these solutions could be commercially ready and viable for the countries to actually pick up and use. That's the broad spectrum. The spectrum is huge. The ideas are huge. We are predominantly looking at integrating with MOSIP. It could be an existing solution, or it could be a fresh new solution. We are not differentiating much, but if we could find a way to leverage that and leapfrog that gap that we have been trying to catch up in the digital space is all we are looking at in MOSIP Create. So in this specifically, we'll look at EG and eSignet predominantly, but there are the entire MOSIP stack is out for MOSIP Create, and you'll look at the themes and other things as we walk through. Next slide, please. Okay. So what's the value proposition that we bring on the table for this? So I think quite some of you have been working with us for the last 4 or 5 years, when we were literally nobody. We had no country deployment, and you have seen us growing. And thanks to all of you in the support that you have given to us. And it's a growth that we grow together. It's not a growth that you can grow individually. And the value proposition that MOSIP brings on is the global audience as we speak, because quite a lot of countries struggled in getting into the digital space, and they had their own experiments, and they still do. MOSIP is just one of the experiments that's going to continue, but MOSIP is one of the biggest experiment. And this allows you to connect to a variety of global audience from the global south, from anywhere from Latin America to Africa to Asia. So there's tons of MOSIP solutions. Sometimes as a full MOSIP implementation, sometimes as a part of MOSIP stacks have been used in multiple of these organizations. And there is a need to showcase this and showcase this value proposition. And this is going to be one of the biggest advantages that we bring on the table, that people who win these solutions could be able to showcase it in the MOSIP Connect 2025, where in rough estimate of 30 plus countries or more could come in. Right. In our last MOSIP Connect, we had approximately 28 countries. Here we're thinking about 30 odd countries being present. And it would be a nice way to showcase solutions that are built here to the countries so that it could be ready to use for the countries in quite sense. Second, our MOSIP Experience Center is expanding quite a lot. Some of you have known about it. Experience Center is the physical centers that we set up across the globe, where countries and companies could physically walk in and experience and experiment their use cases and solutions in a digital lab. Right, the Experience Centers provides you with a tangible way where you can touch and feel your ID, from creation of your ID to printing your ID to all the way using the ID and delivering a service. So all of that works in that kind of a sandbox. So there are several networks we are creating within MOSIP. So there is a new experience center coming in Philippines. You'll soon hear about the announcements. There is one in Rwanda. You would have heard about the hackathon that's going on in there. So there are tons of such networks that soon would spun up, and we want the people who are part of the Connect to be able to put their solutions out there for the global audience to visit and look at it and touch and feel their solutions in reality. Apart from it, you know about the marketplace that we have, and the marketplace is a place where we want to showcase more and more solutions, which could be adapted by countries, picked by them across departments, not just the ID department. We are looking at across the departments, inclusive of banks and PSUs and private companies to adapt the solutions. Because there is need for a collaborative private and a government partnership. And this is aiming at how do we step up that kind of a connection between the government and the private parties together, so that there could be a global growth in terms of the financial usage of such systems, as well as delivering services and adding value to what we do every day. Right. The third, as most of you are aware, as most of we have been extremely academic and collaborating with a lot of international organizations, from standards, from countries specifically, and academic institutions and research institutions for quite some time. The collaborative information and the knowledge and the wealth is also potentially to share, and we think that's a potential value add to everybody who gets access to MOSIP Create. Of course, there is awards. Of course, there is recognition to people who solve the real world challenges. We think all these things are the value proposition that we bring on the table for companies and individuals to operate in the create space. We're predominantly looking at companies creating solutions. Need not be in the open source. It could be completely closed source, as long as it could integrate and actually make a digital improvement and digital services improvement. It would be a nice showcasing of the solution, is what we would think. And as I said, need not be just in the government space. It could be in the government space. It could be in the social space. It could be absolutely a full corporate enabled solutions. We think all of it has the space to do it. The new regulations and the way the countries are evolving is moving down that path. Next slide, please. Okay, so what do we want to do? We speak about what the value is. We spoke about why create. Now, what is that we are specifically looking at? We have come across 4 themes we think is hugely beneficial for countries. And this is not based on us randomly thinking. This is based on what we are gathering from the countries, from the industries, and the interactions that we are doing between the country and the industries within those places. As I said, this is the input that's coming across from 21, 25 odd countries. Right. So one of the most important aspects is solutions around eKYC. Almost 95% of the countries that we operate in, everybody is looking at enabling the usage of digital ID for eKYC, whether they are adapting our NG stack, whether they are adapting our eSignet, whether they are adapting the full MOSIP stack. And there are countries which migrate from their existing systems into full-fledged MOSIP. In all the cases, we are seeing that everybody is working towards getting a well-defined access to eKYC. And their laws and other things are already starting to be in place to match the digital need. But the expectation is, can systems today that exists in financial side or in the loans and in any of the fintechs or could be anything on the social side, anything on the education side, or in the government sector itself. Can they leverage these eKYC APIs that are being provided? And can they showcase the faster and easier integrations so that there is a seamless, ready to use solution on the market, on the table for the companies and the countries to adapt, whether it's an onboarding an employee into your company, or it could be a usage of gate pass in a specific place, could be government restricted areas. In all of these things, the expectation is the KYC to be used. And we think there's a huge potential around that, from attendance systems in the government office to field agents on the field. Is there an officer who's on the field going everywhere, making sure he's meeting the people and addressing the needs? Is he distributing the mosquito nets in certain places, to all the way service delivery to health sector, where people go door to door on health, and in all of these places, a KYC at the government seems to be essential. KYC is just the beginning there, but there's tons of other things that the solution has to bring in order to make it as a real world use case. So we are seeing that as a one inclusive theme. There are various use cases around it, and any of that could be used, but eKYC is the overall theme within all of it. Right. The second theme is financial inclusion through digital identity, and this is one of the most sought out, at least closer to 85 odd our customers, our countries are looking at how do we improve the financial inclusions than what they have today. So automating bank opening of bank accounts, trying to set up bank accounts along with registration systems, trying to use the existing systems and ID cards that are issued, whether it's an NFC ID card, whether it is an QR code based ID card, whatever the country's ID card is used. Can we use all of that and enable financial inclusion? Financial inclusion doesn't mean just opening of bank accounts. We are thinking financial inclusion essentially means opening of bank accounts, as well as enabling delivery of money and access to wealth, or access to the cash, right? It could be micro ATMs at several places. It could be phone-based ATM solutions that are potentially built. It could also be leveraging the existing in social infrastructure in that country and trying to do that. So it could be a solution that you've built for a country which now needs to be integrated here. For a lot of you might have built it for one country, you want to leverage it in other country, then this is the place where you could potentially leverage solutions. Once you build it in one country and you see it working, you could take it here, integrate with MOSIP, and you could showcase it to all the countries that you think is needed. But financial inclusion is end-to-end for us. Starts from increasing the number of bank accounts and accessibility to people, and access to cash using micro, all the way till accessing using micro ATMs or several other forms, right? And we think that is a huge need today. And sometimes the need is so repetitive, and every time we see countries rebuilding this infrastructure every now and then, instead of rebuilding, there may be a huge potential for us to operate in a global way with multiple readily available solutions in these spaces. And we would love to do it. And there are countries which are looking at specifically not at a cash disbursement, but specifically looking at loan disbursements and loan recovery as a model of delivering services. So it need not be only bank and cash. It could also be loans. It could be several other ways. Okay, that's the theme 2 for us. Anything to deal with finance and improve the inclusion and improve the accessibility to banking to several people, digital banking, literally, right? Then the theme 3. The third one is coming across in few of the countries that we are operating in. Due to the climate changes that we are seeing today, there's a lot of problem in some of these countries in enabling climate-specific recovery. It could be simple relief systems. It could be a way in which you assess the current kind of situation in the country. So it could be a combination of both of it together, but there is a need for systems which could be instantly deployed and ready to use in reality to address emergency and relief. The emergency and relief is most often funded by United Nations and other departments within the United Nations. Sometimes it is done by the NGOs, sometimes it's done by the governments directly. So there is philanthropic partners who work through this, but every time we interact with the country, every country seems to be building new solutions out of it, and the solutions are built and lost over time. And we think there is a need for us this ecosystem together to think about how do we leverage this, how do we make this far effective and far faster, because a faster relief essentially means you can bring up the people far more effectively. So you could avoid any damage that could happen to the people, to their health, to their financial situation, and it would also improve the country's wealth in its overall circumstance. The ability for the government to address a relief faster enables them to work very effectively in doing it. So it's tons of systems that are being developed today. A lot of you, some of you I know are already building such solutions in various of these countries. Merging them and actually showcasing them could actually result in far more effective way of doing things. Right? That's the theme 4. The theme theme 3, that's theme 3. So we'll go to the theme 4. Theme 4 is the latest working that MOSIP has been working on. It has been surprisingly within in the last 1 year from the time we have announced, there's tons of countries which are experimenting it. We are hearing every single day, we have some other conversation with countries about credentialing, right? How do we convert the existing digital data? It could be as simple as a fire safety certificate for a building to as complex as a mark sheet or a consolidated mark sheet, employment and background check. There are loads of information that we are seeing, and there's quite a lot of interesting cross-border usages that we are seeing, from interactions with Singapore to several other countries. In Latin America and Asia, there seems to be a lot of use cases around cross-border that is coming up with the same credential facilitations. So how do we enable these countries to convert their existing data into a credentials? It could be any form of data. How do we convert them into credentials? We have been working on a stack called INGI. I think a lot of you would be aware of that. That it comprises of 3 important information. One is called INGI Certify. Other one is called INGI Wallet. Other one is called INGI Verify. These are 3 modules. One allows you to convert any data into a credential. Other allows you to hold that credential in your wallet. The third one allows you to verify the information that you have. This has been a pretty long work from us. We have been working very closely with a lot of international bodies to make a lot of these things as a standard, and be adapting the standard in the open source so that it could help companies build their products above it far more effectively and faster. So we're thinking credential is an extremely solid use case for data exchange at its core. While it may be credentialing as a simple part, but it is going to enable a huge data exchange, and which will allow us to do a lot of interesting cross-border usage and a lot of interesting use cases across the government sector and across the private sector. From private companies to countries that we are interacting, there's a lot of potential and synergy we are seeing. There's a country which is actually going live with digital mark sheets and using the digital mark sheets to provide employment opportunities and skill development to its citizens, right? So that's a simple case, but there are also complex discussions going on in several other places. From protocol to share, from protocol to hold, securely keeping it. A lot of these things are available in the open for you to exploit and use it within your solutions. And that's another wide area that we think could potentially change the way the governments and the private companies thinks about usage in credentials. And just to give you a brief, MOSIP at its core provides credentials as its output. So anytime MOSIP registers a citizen or a resident or an alien within its databases in any of the countries, the end output, once we qualify the individual, the end output is a credential and follows the same standards that we are speaking about here. So we are just one of the systems, but we are just here to facilitate. And we think that's a huge opportunity for everybody to get in. So you have three in the identity space, and one in the credentialing space. There's a mix and match of things we can do. We can take the credential and do all of the three that I mentioned above as well. We are not very restrictive to tell you how to belong here versus here. I think based on the discussions that we have around MOSIP Create and around your solutions, we could define where you belong to and how you get to qualify and how you would be evaluated. Okay. But in overall, we think these are the four high-level themes. Deviation from these themes, if you have something, please reach out to us. We can have an individual discussion, but predominantly we are looking at people to address these four themes as of now, because this is based on the information that we are gathering from the countries, and we are providing it back. Okay, that's the quick introduction of what is MOSIP Create from our side. I'll leave on to Sanat to explain you the way in which it would be conducted. And we will open up for questions at the end of the session. Thank you. These are just the ways in which you can engage with us. So these are places where you can reach out. Please feel free to reach out to us.
Yeah, thanks, Shashi. Yeah, Shashi, maybe you want to just announce the workshops and then we move on to Sanat.
Oh, sure. So we're going to have two workshops, one on the NG stack, which is on 25th October. It's going to be a little technical deep dive, but it'll also be good for business people to come in and understand how the credential business is shaping up. What are we doing in that space? How are we making how are we making the policy changes and everything in the country so that the credentials could thrive in the country? It would be nice for you to attend there. It'll combine both of the talks. I think most of you are already aware of eSignet. eSignet is our online platform to perform eKYC for most of you. We would walk you through how you could integrate, how you could speak to eSignet, how you could use or deploy eSignet in a country. All of that in the workshops. I would welcome both the business and the tech people to join there. At least we will try to split first few business and then go to the tech so that your time is limited and used well enough. Okay, and thank you everyone for joining. Please, we'll continue the next ratio.
Yes. Thank you, Shashi. So with this, I would like to invite Sanat, our head of MOSIP Academy, to take you through the much finer details of the program, MOSIP Create. Sanat, over to you.
Thanks, Resham. Thanks, Shashi, for the introduction about the various topics. We'll next look at the key guidelines and some of the key information, how you should participate in this event. Next slide, please. Yeah, first thing is stages and the timelines. Registration was open from 5th September, and we have published various resources such as earlier recordings about the eSignet, NG, etc. made available on 13th September. Then we have planning for monthly cadence. In October, we are starting first with this live webinar, 17th October today. Says there will be subsequent workshops, I think already Resham showed in the previous slide. The idea submission will be open from 5th September. It was opened and it is going till 3rd November. Please note that this idea submission is only submitting about your idea, and actual solution submission will be opened from 5th November. It is not yet opened. So once it is open, if you are already ready with the solution, you can submit, or you can submit it incrementally. It is not necessary that you should submit within one shot, but it is open from 5th November till 30th November. Keep that in mind. Otherwise, you can keep publishing multiple versions. Then once the solution submission phase is over, we'll start the evaluation. Will be what to say, it will be done by various juries from different industrial background, academic people. They are all involved. So that is why it takes some time from December till 15th Jan. Once its ratings are given, then we will announce the top solution by end of Jan. We have an event coming in March, so before that, uh, this should be done by, so that we will have time for preparation to present at MOSIP Connect. From February, full month is available for that. So this is the high level timelines of various stages. So next slide, please. So what are deliverables? As Sashi mentioned, your contribution could be either open source or it could be a closed source solution. It is even though MOSIP is open source, your solution could be non-open source. In either case, we expect you to provide us about your solution, working demo of that, if required through a sandbox, or what to say, through some videos of recordings showcasing the whole solution, you can give. And then you also need to prepare a solution presentation um, as a slide deck. So this will be useful for us in our event. And then if relevant usage and installation instructions, or if you are publishing it as a set of APIs, then that API documentation, so that the other partners could understand how this your solution could be integrated with third-party products. So same way, as we mentioned, video demo of the solution and samples for the data, etc., should be provided. If you are offering it as an open source, then we expect you to provide the source code also. So otherwise, you just need to give us a working demo of the product or solution rather. Okay. So next slide, please. Yeah, how do you submit your solution? There are two approaches for solution submission. One is using our this MOSIP Create platform, which is a hacker platform. There has it has options to upload once you submit. It has option to submit your project, and during submission, it will ask you to upload files. That is one approach. Um, there is also, we are also open if you have any other mechanism, such as, for example, you upload everything to your own drive and share it with us, it is possible. I think it is detailed in the next slide. Can we go to next slide, please? See, this is one approach where using your own cloud storage, you can upload it to your Google Drive, and like all the artifacts, if you are providing the video recordings, slides, documentation, etc., could be put it into one drive and share the drive link with us by writing to create@mosip.io. Please ensure you give all the details, such as your team name, your theme, what you are addressing, and URL of the drive. Of course, all this you can share through this email. The other approach is via our Create platform, Hacker. Next slide, please. That's the second approach. Yeah. So here, once the submission date is crossed, you will get an option when you log in to submit. So you click on that, it will ask you to submit a project. So that is what these screenshots are showing you. On the dashboard, click on submit new project to start submitting your project. This will be enabled only after the submission start date. Okay, so next slide. Yeah, actually this is a form comes up when you click on submit new project, where it will ask you various details, such as the theme name, your project details, then options to upload files. All that are coming in these forms. Okay, so you can use this and upload all your artifacts. This is what you need to do. And once you fill all this, it will have option to submit. Can you go to next slide? Yeah, it will give you a publish option. So once you publish, your project details are reaching to us, okay, via the platform. These steps are via our Hacker Earth platform, that is MOSIP Create portal. So next slide, please. So as Shashi mentioned earlier, you can communicate us via Discord channel. This is a published channel. This Discord channel name is given in the our Create portal. If you see there, there is a button to register to Discord. You can register through that, or there is also a discussion form you can use. In addition to that, if you are keen to have one-on-one chat with our mentors, then you can request for a personalized chat, but this is opened up once you are shortlisted. So that time you can write to us at create@mosip.io for either for creating the channels or for any queries. You could interact with us via create@mosip.io or via Discord channel. So please keep watching our portal and mailers for more details. We'll be keep sending mailers regarding the workshops. So please look at that mailbox, make sure it doesn't go into spam, and also you can monitor the website. Thank you. These are the guidelines and some of the simple steps for publishing your solution. Thanks, Resham, back to you.
Yes, thank you. Thanks, Sanat. For the next segment, I would like to invite Sanjit, who definitely needs no introduction to this forum. He heads the partner ecosystem at MOSIP. So, Sanjit, if you could take us through the ecosystem and its landscape in the next segment.
Thank you, Resham. Thank you, Sanath. Thank you, Shashi. So, good morning, good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining the session. And it's great to see a lot of familiar faces in the participant list. So, one thing that's very evident to us is that possibilities are created when people come together. And at MOSIP, we believe in bringing all stakeholders to the same page. And we have created multiple initiatives to achieve that. So in this one slide, I'll be speaking more about what are those initiatives. I think most of them are covered by Shashi, Resham, and Sanath, but still I'll try to emphasize on a few points so that we are on the same page. And successful participants in the MOSIP Create, they get access to all these platforms by default. Resham, can you move to the next slide, please? All right. So we built our first experience center in Bangalore. So the center showcases various solutions and use cases built on top of MOSIP. Now, this is a walk-in POC for countries and a great learning experience for anyone who visits. When I say walk-in POC, you can walk in just like you are getting into a new country, experience the ID generation, walk out with an ID. ID could be in the form of a credential, it could be a paper-based ID, it could be anything. It could be a partner solution as well. Also experience the use cases so that by the time you finish this 30 minutes visit, you have full understanding on what is the ID capable of and what kind of changes that the ID can bring into the country. Now it's a very powerful center. We have had more than 30 plus country visits so far in this one center. And we are demonstrating more than 50 plus partner solutions here, including devices, ABIS, SDKs, use cases for that matter. Now, the center is designed as a repeatable blueprint. So we are creating multiple regional centers across the globe. I think Shashi was speaking about it. We have one center coming up in Philippines, another one in Rwanda, in the UK, one of them, just to give in a few names, right? At least 5 parallel constructions of similar centers across the globe are happening as we speak. And as you can see, one of the key stakeholders for the center is our technology partners like you. And if just like we do every time, we invite and encourage you to use the center for meaningful demonstrations and dialogues. Coming to the next initiative, MOSIP Marketplace, I'm sure you are aware of this. This is a transparent, I'm using the word transparent again. It's a transparent online forum showcasing various engagements we have with solution providers and system integrators. So just to give a background, it's very difficult for us to give a handful of names if a country is asking us, hey, which organizations are working on a particular solution. We just want all our engagements onto this particular forum. And there are various categories of solutions to browse through in an easy to discover way, because discovery is for the countries, because countries are going to make use of these solutions. Now, partner contact details. That means if you have a solution that is getting listed onto the marketplace, your contact details are mentioned directly. So MOSIP is just acting as an enabler, helping create dialogues, whether with a country or with another organization. We are also adding more sections. So marketplace, we are giving a lot of emphasis this year onwards. We are adding more sections. One new section will be use cases. That means any integrations that you are doing, it will get onto the marketplace, which will allow countries to get a virtual experience, how specific challenges are addressed and who they can connect for or connect with for a particular use case. Now, if you ask us what is our favorite word in MOSIP, I mean, I can nominate a word called unblocking each other, right? I think that's what the most the word that I like the most in MOSIP, unblocking each other. That'll also mean that we are making progress. Now, for that to happen, there must be a common place to connect and engage. And we created our technical discussion group for that purpose. It's relatively new, maybe about 2 years old now. But then I'm happy to say that we have 25,000 plus page visits happening per month. And it's slowly becoming a crowd-generated, partner-generated, indexed knowledge repository and a medium for technical discourse. Now, the next one, again, starting this year, we also launched our annual conference, our marquee annual conference named MOSIP Connect. I think both speakers, they talked about it. I just wanted to kind of give some highlights from the first edition of MOSIP Connect. So objective, once again, was to bring people together and create possibilities. And the March event, what we did in Ethiopia, where most of you were present, we had participation from 25 plus countries. Around 70 plus partner organizations were attending that. We had about 55 plus demonstration booths, very small booths, just to showcase various solutions. And we also had 30 plus partners contributing to discussions in front of a large but selected audience. So this year again, in 2025, we are planning the same event in Manila. The dates are final. It's 11th and 12th of March. And we'll be sharing more details about the event soon. And we really hope to see you there. Now, just as a concluding notes, once again, we truly believe in bringing people together, and we know that's the only efficient way to move forward together. So I once again wish everyone all the best who are participating in MOSIP Create, and thank you once again for joining this session. Over to you, Resham. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks, Sanjit. I think that's given us a brief glimpse into the various offerings of the ecosystem. With this, we do not want to get into more slides. We actually want to open up the forum to keep it two-way, to keep it engaging. So we would like to open up the floor for questions. Okay, we have Vishnu who has a question. Vishnu, if you could unmute yourself and...
Good evening, everyone. Is I audible?
Yes, Vishnu, we can hear you. Yes.
Like this is basically a eKYC process for the MOSIP, and we are basically using the enrollment scanners and the MOSIP registration process.
Vishnu, you're asking us a question whether this is for eKYC, is it?
Yeah, because I think in eKYC, our scanner is not using for eKYC purpose. I think it is basically in KYC we are using in MOSIP L1 scanners basically.
Yeah, so I think probably I'll address that. Hi, Vishnu. Thanks for
Yeah,
joining.
hi Sanjay. Yeah.
Hey, so we are primarily talking about the solutioning side of the story. That means, if there is a use case that is associated with KYC, one of the element in that solution will be, of course, your devices, right? Because even if it's an e-signet biometric-based verification use case that someone is doing, your component, the biometric device component, can be part of that this use case solutioning. So, are you able to get that fairly well, or you have?
Yeah, we are basically like we are already using in enrollment reshare for MOSIP, but for eKYC, I think for a single fingerprint scanner is better for eKYC purpose.
Yeah, we are on the same page, Vishnu. Yes.
Okay. So can we use the registration like our 442 scanner in the eKYC also?
No, not really. So I think this will be, we can always take this discussion offline, but then just very quick answer will be the 442 scanners are primarily for enrollment, for the nature of the hardware itself. And for the
Okay.
use cases like, let's say an eKYC or something related to identity verification, we generally use a single fingerprint scanner, the L1 scanner that you had.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Thanks, Sanjay.
Thanks, Vishnu. We can connect offline again. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. We did have a question on the evaluation criteria for the submitted solutions. While I have responded to it on the Dropbox, just for the benefit of the rest of the participants, we do have certain criteria that's been spelled out in the website. I have provided the link in the Dropbox, but just to highlight that the evaluation will not be done solely by MOSIP. Just to keep the entire approach very neutral and unbiased, the panel will include external experts as well. So just wanted to highlight that for the benefit of the audience. So Sanjit, there is a question on, okay. All right, I see that's been answered by Shashi, so that's fine. Okay, do we have to build from scratch for in the hackathon duration, or can we use existing product for integration? So,
Shashi, you are typing a response. Probably you can also speak
yes,
more.
yes.
Yeah, I think we're perfectly fine if you're using your existing product or you're building new. In both the ways, we are thinking of that in equal terms. So you're more than welcome to integrate your existing product as well.
Shashi, there's a question. Can the MOSIP setup be done on-prem without Kubernetes?
It can, but it's going to be a little painful to do it. But for this hackathon, and in general, for people who are relatively new to MOSIP, we have two sandboxes running. One sandbox has a direct access to Sanjit. Maybe Resham, we can put both the URLs out there. So which has the stable version of MOSIP deployed and ready to use. So any partners who think has to integrate into MOSIP, that's a place where you don't need to run the MOSIP. We are running it on the premises, on the cloud for you, where you can have access and test your solutions directly. So please feel free to take advantage. If you are an organization which likes to work on a bleeding edge, because the bleeding edge will continue to propagate further, our bleeding edge is available in another URL. We will share it to you in a few minutes from now, called Collab. And that's a place where the bleeding edge gets worked, and that is directly handled by the engineering in the community. So you can reach out there as well. So both the sites, based on where your solution fits in, feel free to reach to us. You can reach any one of us. We could actually work together as well, not a problem. Or you can reach to us in community.mosip.io and ask about it. We're not expecting you to have your own your own MOSIP instance running in your premises. We would run it for you. You just need to integrate.
Okay, Shashi, should the solutions integrate only with MOSIP, or can it be integrated with other IT platforms just to showcase the power of integration if the source code is open?
Not really right now, because the work that we are doing with the countries is to propagate, if the country has adapted MOSIP or MOSIP compliant solution, the adoption has to be propagated. So if you're going to use other ID platform, I don't know what you have in mind. It would be nice to know, but if it has a compatibility with MOSIP, then obviously it's fine. Or if it has a compatibility MOSIP standards, once again it's fine. If it has no compatibility with things, then it's going to be very difficult to get it promoted here.
Thanks, Shashi. There's a question on the evaluation. We have submitted an idea a while back, but didn't hear about the evaluation. The regular mentoring session has also not started as mentioned. When will that start? Okay, we have started evaluating the ideas. In fact, we have started writing back to a couple of you to get more details on certain ideas. So the process has begun. So you can expect to hear from us iteratively in the next couple of days. Okay, Shashi, if we want to integrate MOSIP in local environment, can we integrate it independently as single modules?
Yes, you can integrate it as single modules. The eSignet is, we have a Docker Compose that we have created specifically for eSignet. You can run it locally in your machines and integrate it. You don't need the full host of MOSIP ecosystem to run. eSignet would be one easy way. Similarly, we have done the exactly same work on the NG. It has a completely Docker Compose files, which can be just used on your local machine and start to integrate. So that option is provided as a part of this work.
Okay. So Shashi, will MOSIP Create consider tools which propose other biometrics other than physiological?
Sorry, Rishma, what is the question?
Will MOSIP, yeah, Sanjit, you want to take
Yeah.
that?
So I think we are agnostic to biometric modalities, but then we really work on the standards that are available, right? And that's where most of our engagement so far is with face, iris, and then fingerprints. But then this is a hackathon, and then we also would like to understand what is the proposal on other biometric modalities.
All right. What is the existing technology used for eKYC?
If you want to take that, or
Go ahead, Sanjay.
yeah, so we have two different endpoints that are available. One for a yes or no identity verification, and second one for getting a KYC data out. So when you say KYC data out, that the response consists of your demographic information, including photograph, that can be used for let's say filling up a customer acquisition form or onboarding. So the format as such is similar to just like any other response format. So we have two ways of integration. One is eSignet, and then second is a direct integration. But we are looking at eSignet based integration here.
Yeah, just to add on, Sanjit, NG based integration that's as well as more than welcome. So you could use the NG stack and do eKYC with the same.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. Is there any specific format for idea submission? There is no specific format for idea submission. Once you click on the button to submit your idea, you can give us a description. You will also receive an option to upload any supporting documents. So you could support your submission with maybe a presentation deck or any other details or any videos that you have on the solution, and that should be it. There's no specific criteria or mandatory format, but yes, we would like to highlight if you could specifically mention what is the touch point, which is the solution that you're looking at integrating with MOSIP, right? So is it the core platform, is it eSignet, or is it ING? Okay. Will the ideas get integration support even if we don't win the hackathon? Yeah.
Absolutely,
So,
yes. Winning the hackathon is not the end goal. It is just one mid path to all to target for faster. But that's not the end for our communication. That's not the end for us to work together. We think we have to do this continuously as we move forward, as more and more countries come in, more and more problems being put across to us. And we are not here to solve all the problems of digital stack. We are here to solve only the identity stack. And we think our community can actually solve together a lot more problems. And that is exactly what MOSIP Create is all about. We will continue to engage. We'll continue to grow this. We'll continue to keep you in front of the customers.
Yeah. We do have one more question. Should we enroll our team as ID holders in MOSIP for integration and testing? And for ING, do we need to supply our credentials like mark sheets, driving license, health certificates, etc.?
Okay. I said we have a sandbox. So based on your use case, you may need to make a decision whether your team needs to be registered in our sandbox or not. So if once we get your solution ideas, we could then arrange everything that's necessary in our sandbox for you and get that going. And our sessions on ING and eSignet will give you a little more clarity on how you could use it locally in your development environments. As I said, you can choose to use our sandbox, no deployment needed directly there. You could also choose to use Docker Compose files that we have put across, which would be readily available to be usable in your local machines. So in your local machines, you should be able to run our ING stack or eSignet and continue your integration with the eKYC or continue your integration with credentialing.
All right. Do we have any more questions? Okay. If we don't have any more questions, I think we're good. So thank you, everyone. Thanks for attending today's session of the webinar. We hope that it's given you valuable insights into the program, its expectations, and the broader scope of this integration journey. Like Shashi, Sanjit, and Sanath mentioned, the objective of this event is not just with this event itself. It's a broader objective that we have, a broader vision. So we look forward to keep collaborating with you. A special thanks to our speakers and the experts on the call. To our participants, if you have any further questions, please feel free to reach out to us through the various communication channels on the hackathon website or Discord, like Sanath was mentioning, or you can write to us at create@mosip.io. Do watch out for updates on our website and via email on our upcoming workshops, working sessions, and the other AMA sessions that we would have. So thank you once again, and we look forward to continue collaborating with you. Thanks, everyone. you.